Hello, hello. Gonna give it a few minutes, see if anyone hops on here. I'm still waiting for my cohorts. So don't mind me while I get everything configured. Hopefully everyone is doing good today. I don't know about all y'all, but I'm ready for today to be over with. No more commercials, no more signs, no more annoying text messages. You know, all that good stuff. Trying to get everybody on here. See if I can. Weird. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. I guess everybody's having technical difficulties today. Which is always fun. But we are talking about Harry Potter tonight. So if you're not a Potterhead or you're just not, whatever, might not be the show for you, but if you know us better than anybody, we'll probably swirl a time or 12. Kirsten says, end the madness. Yeah, girl, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it in general. Sick of it in general. Poor Conrad. I don't know why everybody's having such an issue tonight. But that's okay. I think I will just go ahead and start. I've got some fun facts pulled up about Harry Potter. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but being the stereotypical millennial, one of my favorite book series and movie series, I don't actually dress up like it every year or anything. I've never been to Harry Potter World, Universal Studios, although it is on my bucket list. If anyone has been there, tell me how it is. I'd really like to know. So, let's see here. The first fun fact I'm going to share, which is actually really funny, is J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter share a birthday. So in the series, there you are.
I got it.
I can't hear you.
Oh no.
I can see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you.
After all of that.
Oh, you know what? It might be my fault. Try talking again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you could hear me though, so that's good because my laptop was muted because I'm an idiot. Well, I was actually just sharing my first Harry Potter fact, and you'll get a kick out of it because J.K. Rowling shares her birthday with Harry Potter, and their birthday is July 31st.
Yeah, that's my number one thing I tell people. I share my birthday with Harry Potter.
So that is fun fact number 1. And fun fact number 2, J.K. Rowling invented the names of the Hogwarts houses on the back of a barf bag. So in the year 2000, Scholastic gave school children across the U.S. the opportunity to ask her questions. When one student asked her, "What made you think of the people's names and dormitories at Hogwarts?" she responded, "I invented the names of the houses on the back of an airplane sick bag." This is true. I love inventing names, but I also collect unusual names so that I can look through my notebook and choose one that suits a new character. Well, isn't that fantastic?
That's cool.
Number 3, J.K. Rowling's education came in handy for writing the Harry Potter books. At university, she minored in classics, and she put that education to good use. putting Latin all throughout the books. So, quote unquote, it just amused me, the idea that wizards would still be using Latin as a living language, although it is, as scholars of Latin will know, she said in 2000. I take great liberties with the language for spells. I see it as a kind of mutation that the wizards are using. Expelliarmus, for example, combines expellere, meaning drive out or expel, with arma, meaning weapon, and knocks weapons from an enemy's hands. Incendio, which lights a fire, comes from incendiarius, or fire raising. If I butchered that, I don't speak Latin. And Hogwarts' motto is Draco Dormiens Numquam Tintalandus, never tickle a sleeping dragon. I definitely butchered that one. But that's fine. So, number 4, early on, J.K. Rowling wrote a sketch of the final chapter of the final book. So, she calls the idea that she had the first chapter of Deathly Hallows written and locked away in a safe rubbish, but there was a small element of truth to it. She said, I had very early on, but not the first day or anything, probably within the first year of writing. I wrote a sketch for what I thought the final chapter would be, she told Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry Potter. She said, I always knew, and this was from really early on, that I was working toward the point where Hagrid carried Harry, alive but supposedly dead, out of the forest always. I knew we were always working towards the final battle at Hogwarts. I knew that Harry would walk to his death. I planned the ghost, for want of a better word, coming back, that they would walk with him into the forest. We would all believe he was walking to his death, and he would emerge in Hagrid's arms. And that mental image is what kept Hagrid alive, despite the fact that he would have been a natural to kill in some ways, she said. But because I always cleaved to this mental image of Hagrid being the one carrying Harry out, that was so perfect for me, because it was Hagrid who took him into the world and Hagrid who would bring him back. That's where we were always going. Hagrid was never in danger. Thank God, because Hagrid was awesome.
I loved Hagrid.
I know. I was so bummed when the gentleman who played him passed away.
So many of the cast members.
I know. Well, that's what you get. The movie's been out over 20 years now.
Shh.
I know. My bad. We're
I
dating
that.
Number 5, the Dementors in Harry Potter are based on J.K. Rowling's struggle with depression after her mother's death. So her mother, who had MS, or multiple sclerosis, died in 1990, after which Rowling suffered a period of depression. She would use the experience to characterize Harry Potter's Dementors, creepy creatures that feed on human emotion. It's so difficult to describe depression to someone who's never been there because it's not sadness, Rowling told Oprah. I know sadness. Sadness is to cry and to feel, but it's that cold absence of feeling, that really hollowed out feeling. That's what Dementors are. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, she kind of nailed that one. Let's see here. Number 6, J.K. Rowling created Quidditch after a fight with her boyfriend. She said, if you want to create a game like Quidditch, what you have to do is have an enormous argument with your, at the time, boyfriend. She said in 2003, you walk out of the house, you sit down in a pub, and you invent Quidditch. And I don't really know what the connection is between the row and Quidditch, except that Quidditch is quite a violent game, and maybe in my deepest, darkest soul, I would quite like to see him hit by a bludger. Number 7, the plants in Harry Potter come from a real book. She said, I used to collect names of plants that sounded witchy. And then I found this, Culpepper's Complete Herbal, and it was the answer to my every prayer. Flaxweed, toadflax, fleawort, goutwort, grommel, knotgrass, mugwort. The bug was penned in the 17th century by English botanist and herbalist Nicholas Culpeper, and you can actually still read it. There you go, Conrad. You need that.
I do need that.
You definitely get it. Get it. Number 8, a proposed title for the American version of Philosopher's Stone was Harry Potter and the School of Magic. Rowling turned it down, saying, according to American publisher Arthur Levine, no, that doesn't feel right to me. What if we called it the Sorcerer's Stone? The French edition, Levine points out in J.K. Rowling, a bibliography, is called Harry Potter L'École des Sorcières.
Do you want to let Lisa in?
No. Yes, I will let Lisa in. Lisa!
Hey, how are you?
I didn't think about you not being on that screen, so I was like, oh, wait, she can't see that.
Sorry about
I've
that.
been here for just a little bit.
I have to switch back and forth. Good thing somebody's watching me. We are talking about Harry Potter.
I was listening.
Yes.
Harry's one of my favorites.
I know, it's so good. Kirsten says, my little brother used to be told he looked like Harry Potter. I believe it. Seeing the pictures of him, I believe it. Okay, where did I leave off?
Number 8.
So number 9, J.K. Rowling made complicated outlines. So the author's outline for Order of the Phoenix has chapter titles, a general outline of the plot, and then more specific plot points for certain characters. Based on this outline, it looks like Rowling thought about calling Dolores Umbridge Elvira Umbridge instead. That would have been interesting.
I like Dolores Umbridge more.
Same. Rolls off the tongue, you know?
Yeah.
Number 10, oh God, Arthur Weasley was supposed to die in a battle between good and evil. This epic, not everyone would make it through alive. That would have led to very fluffy, cozy books, she told Meredith Vieira. You know, suddenly I would be halfway through Goblet of Fire and everyone would just have a really great life and the plot would go AWOL. Which is not to say that Rowling knew exactly who was on the chopping block. She thought about killing Arthur Weasley after he was attacked by Nagini in Order of the Phoenix, but instead opted to save him partly because there were very few good fathers in the book. In fact, you could make a very good case for Arthur Weasley being the only good father in the whole series. She also seriously considered killing Ron, then thought better of it. Instead, Lupin, a character she had no intention of killing when she began the books, and Tonks died during the final battle of Hogwarts, which I absolutely hated. I wanted there to be an echo of what happened to Harry just to show the absolute evil of what Voldemort's doing, she had said. I think one of the most devastating things about war is the children left behind. As happened in the first war when Harry's left behind, I wanted us to see another child left behind, and it made it very poignant that it was Lupin and Tonks' newborn son. I hated it. Hated it. I'm still upset that they died, and that was forever ago.
I know.
Ugh. Number 11, Stephen King thought Dolores Umbridge was a great villain. In his review of Order of the Phoenix for Entertainment Weekly, King said, the gently smiling Dolores Umbridge with her girlish voice, toad-like face, and clutching stubby fingers is the greatest make-believe villain to come along since Hannibal Lecter. Accurate. Number 12, to keep Deathly Hallows from leaking early, Bloomsbury gave it code names. You probably wouldn't have been so interested in reading Edinburgh Potmakers or The Life and Times of Clara Rose Lovett, an epic novel covering many generations. But those were some of the names that it was given, so nobody would know what happened.
That's
Isn't
crazy.
that fun? Haley Joel Osment could have played Harry in the Harry Potter films. When Steven Spielberg was attached to direct the film adaptation, he wanted Sixth Sense star Haley Joel Osment to play Harry Potter. Ew. But the director eventually left over a creative clash with Rowling, and new director Chris Columbus had to find his star. Some 300 kids tested for Harry Potter over a period of 7 months. Jonathan Lipnicki from Jerry Maguire even expressed interest. There were times when we felt we would never find an individual who embodied the complex spirit and depth of Harry, Columbus had said. Then, one night, producer David Heyman went to the theater with screenwriter Steve Kloves, who ended up penning all but one of the Potter scripts. There, sitting behind me, was this boy with these big blue eyes. It was Dan Radcliffe. Heyman told Hero Complex in 2009. I remember my first impressions. He was curious and funny and so energetic. There was real generosity too, and sweetness, but at the same time, he was really voracious with hunger for knowledge of whatever kind. He persuaded Radcliffe's parents to let their son audition, and the rest is history. And when Daniel Radcliffe found out he had the part, he was in the bathtub. little side thing there.
Rubber duckies.
Number 14, Rupert Grint's audition was unusual. 9-year-old Emma Watson's first audition for the role of Hermione took place in her school gym. She auditioned a total of 8 times. Grint, then 10, sent in a video audition and went in a rather unusual direction. He said, I found out that you could audition by sending a picture of yourself and some information to Newsround, he had said in 2002. I did my own video with me, first of all, pretending to be my drama teacher, who unfortunately was a girl. And then I did a rap of how I wanted to be Ron, and then I made my own script thing and sent it off. He'd had some competition, though. Tom Felton auditioned for both Ron and Harry before ultimately being cast as Draco Malfoy. I can't imagine Tom Felton being Ron or Harry. They picked good. Number 15, there's a good reason Harry's eyes aren't green in the movies. In the books, Harry's eyes are described as bright green, but Radcliffe's are blue. When Sorcerer's Stone was in pre-production, Heyman called Rowling and told her their options. They tried green contacts. They could also try making Radcliffe's eyes green in post-production. How important was it, he wondered, for Harry's eyes to be green? Rowling said that the only thing that was really important was that Harry's eyes looked like his mother's, so whoever played Lily Potter would need to have some resemblance to Radcliffe. This was a relief for Radcliffe, who had an extremely adverse reaction to the contacts. He was also allergic to the glasses, which made him break out in acne. Must have been cheap metal. These are fun things. Do you guys have anything to add? No? Okay.
No.
I'll keep talking.
What number are you on?
Number 16.
And how many are there?
35.
That's a weird number.
It's fine.
You know, it's usually like, top 20 weird facts or...
I know. I always have to
It's
go
so
for the-
It's just so random. 35.
You're welcome.
Who's your
Number
favorite
6
character, though?
My favorite character?
Mm-hmm.
Who is my favorite character? You know, honestly, Lupin was one of my favorites.
Oh, really?
Naturally. And all my favorite characters tend to die. Hedwig was one of my favorite characters, and guess what?
Oh, I cried over Hedwig.
What was the hippogriff's name? Holy shit. I can't remember his name. But the hippogriff.
Dumbledore was my favorite.
Buckbeak, yes. I love
Dumbledore.
Buckbeak. At least Buckbeak didn't die, for the love of God.
Who's your favorite, Conrad?
Lupin is one of mine. And well, yeah, of course my mind just went blank.
I know, right?
Hermione. I like Hermione too.
Oh, I do
and
love Hermione.
are my favorite.
I have a special soft spot for Hagrid, yeah.
Hagrid.
Since the very beginning, since the first time he brought Harry to the front porch in the movies, I was like, oh.
I would also like to add that Professor McGonagall was definitely one of my favorites.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
definitely.
It was such an awesome character. Maggie Smith, I think, was the actress.
Yep, I think that, yeah.
Oh, when she passed away relatively recently, I read in an article that she didn't really care for the part of Professor McGonagall. It was just more like her pension for retirement.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So I guess her demeanor toward the character was kind of perfect for her personality.
Yeah.
Because it was real. She wasn't really acting.
I've always liked Maggie Smith in anything she played in.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Maggie Smith's brilliant.
Yeah.
I cried when she died. I got tears in my eyes. I found out. I was like, no.
I mean, she did good. She lived a long, full life, you know.
She did. She was pretty old, actually.
She did great. Mm-hmm.
I like Professor Sprout, too.
Oh, she's sassy. I like her. What about you, Lisa? You said Hermione.
Dumbledore is my favorite.
Yeah.
I like the Maggie Smith character.
McGonagall.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's. I mean, those two are my favorite. You know,
Mhm.
but I like them all. I love that. I love those movies. I watched them over and over again. You know, my granddaughter was younger, and she would spend a lot of time, and we'd watch them 8,000 times. So
Mhm.
it was good. I love that show. I love those movies.
You know what's funny is like throughout the whole Harry Potter series, I always thought that Dumbledore and Professor McGonagall would be like the ultimate couple. But then they
Yes.
brought out Fantastic Beasts and made Dumbledore gay. And not that
Oh,
I care because like that's cool, but I was heartbroken personally because I'm like, "Oh, but they would have made such a great couple."
they got together.
I guess they had to settle for being besties.
I liked him because of the animals and stuff, and he was so gentle and kind, and
Mm.
that's why I liked him.
And might I also add that I was really disappointed in Fantastic Beasts that Johnny Depp could no longer play his character. I can't remember his
Yeah.
name. It's been a hot minute. But because like I think that was when the whole Amber Heard bullshit was going on, so he got
Hmm.
fired from like every role he was playing. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I digress. All right.
Ooh.
Number 16. The brooms used in the Harry Potter movies aren't regular brooms. They were made by modeler Pierre Bahana using aircraft-grade titanium. People think of them as a prop the kids are carrying around, but in reality, they have to sit on them. Eddie Newquist, chief creative officer of the firm Global Entertainment Services, which put on Harry Potter the Exhibition, told Popular Mechanics. They have to be mounted onto motion control bases for green screen shots and special effects shots, so they have to be very thin and incredibly durable. Most of these kids weighed 80 pounds, 90 pounds at the beginning. Now they're all adults, so they're up over 120, 130 pounds, and you have to really make sure your brooms can withstand that. Did you know that they actually made Quidditch an actual sport? Like,
They did?
Yeah.
people carry brooms and like hold them
Like what?
they're
Like a
sitting
run
on
around
them,
them?
and they run around
It's like a game mixed with LARPing.
yeah. And the only reason I know this, and I literally just learned it because I was watching last year's season of Hell's Kitchen, and one of the chefs on the guys' team played Quidditch, but he's not even a fan of Harry Potter. He just wanted to do something different. And everybody laughed at him, and he was like the first guy voted off.
He probably should have kept his mouth shut about that.
I mean, I'm all for people living their best life and doing what they want, but there may also be a time and a place on when to indulge in your hobbies. Yeah,
Some things should just be kept to yourself sometimes.
I mean,
Or
again,
your best friends or something. But
the only thing that I found odd was the fact that he was like, I'm not even a fan of Harry Potter. I'm like, why are you playing Quidditch? Like, I feel like that's blasphemy. Why?
Right.
I think that should be a requirement if you're going to play Quidditch, but
yeah.
who am I? I just don't know about all that. So, number 17, the role of Peeves was cast and filmed, but then it was cut from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And honestly, that was probably one of my biggest complaints with the whole movie series was them not having Peeves. Lisa, did you read the books?
Yes, but I don't remember Peeves. Who
So
was he?
Peeves was the super mischievous ghost, and he caused all sorts of trouble.
Yeah. Now I remember. Yes.
Yeah, he was originally gonna be in the movie, but then they just completely cut him out. So, British comedian Rick Mayall was cast as Hogwarts prank-happy poltergeist in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. He showed up and shot the scenes, which were later cut when director Chris Columbus decided he didn't like the look of the ghost. Mayall described the experience in a 2011 interview. I got sent off the set because every time I tried to do a bit of acting, all the lads who were playing the school kids kept getting the giggles. They kept corpsing, so they threw me off.
Yeah.
And then he says, well, they asked me to do it with my back to them and they still laughed. So they asked me to do it around the other side of the cathedral and shout my lines, but they still laughed. So they said they'd do my lines with someone else. So then I did a little bit of filming. Then I went home and I got the money. That's significant. Then a month later, they said, Rick, we're sorry about this, but you're not in the film. We've cut you out. But I still got the money. So that is the most exciting film I've ever been in because I got the oodle and I wasn't in it. Fantastic. That's a quote. He didn't tell his kids his part had been cut, though, and when they went to see it, they came back and they said, bloody good makeup. You didn't look like yourself at all, Dad, Mayall said. They thought I was playing Hagrid, Robbie Coltrane's part. Number 18 is Moaning Myrtle has an interesting inspiration. Rowling wrote on Pottermore that the whiny bathroom-dwelling ghost was inspired by the frequent presence of a crying girl in communal bathrooms, especially at the parties and discos of my youth. This does not seem to happen in male bathrooms, so I enjoyed placing Harry and Ron in such uncomfortable and unfamiliar territory in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets and Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Did anybody else find it really weird, though, that Moaning Myrtle looked kind of like Harry in Chamber of Secrets?
A little bit.
Yeah.
She looked like, she looked like a mirror image almost of him. Like,
yeah, just with like pigtails. Like, did they do that on purpose? I don't know.
No.
Number 19, the actress who played Moaning Myrtle in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets was older than a student. Shirley Henderson was 36 when she played the bathroom haunting ghost of a 14-year-old student who was killed by a basilisk stare in Chamber of Secrets. Playing a ghost was tougher than playing a real person, she told the BBC, because of all the technical stuff it involved. I had to be strapped up to this harness so it looked as if I was flying and so I could be pushed through the air and twisted and turned over and over again. It's physically very tiring on your body. It also requires a lot of concentration because there's all kinds of people shouting stuff like, turn, do this, look at this. So they can do all their stuff with their computer effects while I'm trying to act it out. But once you block all that out, it's great fun. Really good fun. All right. Number 20, Prisoner of Azkaban director Alfonso Cuarón asked Watson, Grint, and Radcliffe to write essays about their characters. Alfonso wanted Watson, Radcliffe, and Grint to write essays about their characters from a first-person point of view. According to Heyman, they all responded very much in character. Dan wrote a page, Emma wrote 10, and Rupert didn't deliver anything. Well, that sounds quite like their characters. Grint told Entertainment Weekly, I didn't do mine because I didn't think Ron would. Or, that was my excuse. At the time, I was actually quite busy with the real schoolwork involved with my exams, and I just didn't do it. But in the end, it felt right, because that's what Ron would have done. One thing that I learned about the third movie is, like, you see the kids wearing what I would call civilian clothes most of the time, so they're not really wearing the robes in a lot of the movies. The clothing that they were wearing was actually the actors' own clothing. So that's what they actually wore in real life. Number 21, J.K. Rowling shot down one of Alfonso's ideas. Rowling wasn't precious about all of the details of her books. Inevitably, you have to depart from the strict storyline of the book, she told Radcliffe. The books are simply too long to make into very faithful films, but that didn't mean she let everything slide. She said, sometimes I would dig my heels in on the funniest things. I'd say, yeah, change the costume. That's not a problem. And then all of a sudden I'd say, why would they do that spell? They wouldn't do that there. Take, for example, one shot that Alfonso wrote into Prisoner of Azkaban, which Rowling called rather bizarre. I think Flitwick was conducting and that there were miniature people in an orchestra inside something, she told Radcliffe. I said to him, but why? I know it's visually exciting, but part of what I think fans really enjoyed about the literary world is that there was a logic that underpinned it. There is always a logic to the magic, however strange it became. And I know it's intriguing to go through the mouth of whatever it was and see these little people. But why have they done it? For you to film it. That's just what it feels like. Normally with the magic, there's a point. So we had a bit of a discussion. Number 22, J.K. Rowling tipped Alan Rickman off to Snape's motivations. She said, I told him really early on that Snape had been in love with Lily. That's why he hated James. That's why he projected this amount of dislike onto Harry. So he knew that. Then you told me that he'd have been saying, I just don't think Snape would do that, given what I know. She laughed and said, and I thought, Alan, are you really milking this now? She also told Radcliffe about Harry's partial fate after seeing him in Ecus? I don't know. Radcliffe asked her point blank, do I die? And she says, you get a death scene. And she said, I saw you double take. Neil, my husband, afterwards said, what did Dan ask you? And she said, he wanted to know if he's going to die. When he asked what she'd said, Rowling answered, I'm not telling you. Though her husband knew Dumbledore's fate ahead of time, Rowling kept Harry's ultimate fate a secret till the end. Number 23, the Harry Potter actors couldn't play contact sports. Instead, they played golf. Rupert Grint and my brother James and I would hang out at the driving range downstairs quite a bit. Oliver Phelps, who played George Weasley, told Entertainment Weekly. I mean, I say driving range, but it was a mat and a 150-yard cone at the other end. Golf was one of the only sports we were allowed to do in our contract because it was relatively quite safe. We couldn't do any contact sports. Number 24, the Harry Potter movies featured some high-tech visual effects. Visual effects artists were tasked with bringing many of the fantastical magical elements of Harry Potter to life, including everything from fire-breathing dragons and club-swinging giants to zombie-like Inferi and Voldemort's snake-like face, which was created by using practical makeup and digitally removing Ralph Fiennes' nose. One of their most challenging sequences came early in Deathly Hallows when members of the Order of the Phoenix arrive at Privet Drive to whisk Harry away to a safe spot. Multiple Harrys, Mad-Eye Moody says, will confuse the Death Eaters on their trail, so some of the wizards chug Polyjuice Potion and transform into Harry. The transformation was tough for visual effects artists to pull off. They said, we needed to have a little bit of the attributes of Harry and a little bit of the attributes of whoever we started with, George, Fred, Ron, Hermione. The tricky part is you have to be able to read the Harry part and the George part. What we keep from each of these characters has to be perfect. They accomplished it by coating the actors' faces in UV paint, then having them make faces in the Mova Contour reality capture system, which had 29 cameras and can capture 50,000 points of information, creating a 3D mesh cloud they could use as a basis for the transforming faces. According to Phelps, it was completely different than anything they'd ever done before. There are probably 30 different facial expressions they tried to get you to do. I never realized how wide I could open my mouth until we did that scene, so that was quite cool. Because of the UV paint, the VFX artist had one piece of advice, Phelps said. They were quite keen to say, just don't go to any nightclubs tonight because you'll look like a floating head.
That'd be fun.
That would make me go immediately.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like, don't threaten me with a good time. Jeez. I'm almost through. Number 25, but not all the effects in the Harry Potter movies were computer generated. Animatronics were made for the actors to interact with on set, including Baby Mandrakes, Hedwig, the Monsters Book of Monsters, and Buckbeak, which was used on set for close-ups. He could stare at you, his eyes could follow you, he could bow, and every one of his feathers was dyed and put in by hand, Newquist told Popular Mechanics. There are tens of thousands of them, and they look absolutely gorgeous. Other creatures were built to give the animators reference for lighting, like the giant Jack-in-the-Box from Prisoner of Azkaban and the house elf creature. I thought Buckbeak looked kind of real. Number 26, the Harry Potter makeup artists applied Harry's lightning bolt scar thousands of times over the course of 8 films. 5,800 times to be exact. In the 2014 interview with Radcliffe, he said, the lightning scar on the first 2 films, we essentially painted it on, and after that we used Prozaid, which was like a glue. It was very simple. The scar was applied to his face thousands of times. The rest went on film and stunt doubles. Radcliffe also went through 160 pairs of Harry's round frame glasses. He was also very well known for breaking his wand. Number 27, Helena Bonham Carter kept her Bellatrix teeth. I loved my fake teeth, she told Entertainment Weekly. I kept them because they're not going to fit anybody else. I keep them in a blue plastic thing in the bathroom and bring them out when I miss Bellatrix. That's gross.
My favorite scene in the series is when Weasley's mom, not
Molly.
my daughter, you bitch.
Yes, I love that scene. Power, man. You don't fuck with Mrs. Weasley. Number 28, there could have been an official Harry Potter musical. Rowling has turned down a lot of proposed Harry Potter ideas, including a musical that Michael Jackson wanted to do. Harry did get his Broadway moment, though, via Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which debuted on the West End in 2016 before making its way to Broadway 2 years later. Number 29, which I kind of spoiled already, Dumbledore was gay. Rowling has shared a number of revelations since the Harry Potter books and films wrapped up, including the fact that Dumbledore was gay. In 2007, when asked by a fan whether or not Hogwarts' favorite headmaster had ever been in love, Rowling responded, "I always thought of Dumbledore as gay." She revealed that he had fallen in love with Grindelwald, and that added to his horror when Grindelwald showed himself to be what he was. Rowling said she found the reaction to the news very interesting. "To me, it was not a big deal," she said. "This is a very old man who has a very terrible job to do. And his gayness really isn't relevant. Very relevant to him as a character because I always saw him as a very lonely character. And I think that there is, in fact, a hint of it in Deathly Hallows because of the relationship he has with Grindelwald. He fell very hard for this boy. And don't you think it was perfect that Dumbledore, who was always the great champion of love, his one great experience of love was utterly tragic?" This led to one very necessary tweak to the Half-Blood Prince script. In an early draft of that script, Dumbledore said to Harry, "I remember a young woman with eyes of flashing whatever, raven-haired. And I read this, and I scribbled on my copy of the script, 'Steve, Dumbledore is gay.' Shoved it up the table," she said, and Steve said, "Oh, so that's why that line didn't make the film." Number 30, J.K. Rowling acknowledged that a Harry-Hermione pairing might have worked. In an interview with Emma Watson for Wonderland magazine in 2014, Rowling said that, "I wrote the Hermione-Ron relationship as a form of wish fulfillment, saying that they ended up together for reasons that have very little to do with literature and far more to do with me clinging to the plot as I first imagined it. The attraction itself is plausible, but the combative side of it, I'm not sure you could have gotten over that in an adult relationship. There is too much fundamental incompatibility." She noted that in some ways Hermione and Harry are a better fit, and that she felt quite strongly when she wrote a particular scene in Deathly Hallows where Harry and Hermione are in the tent. She said, "I hadn't told Steve Kloves that, and when he wrote the script, he felt exactly the same thing at exactly the same point." I honestly thought they would have made a super cute couple, but I can get behind Harry and Ginny. All right. 31. According to J.K. Rowling, the Malfoy family once hung out with rich muggles. Until the imposition of the Statute of Secrecy in 1692, the Malfoy family was active within highborn muggle circles, and it is said that their fervent opposition to the imposition of the statute was due in part to the fact that they would have to withdraw from this enjoyable sphere of social life, Rowling wrote on Pottermore. In fact, one Malfoy might have had designs on the British throne. There is ample evidence to suggest that the first Lucius Malfoy was an unsuccessful aspirant to the hand of Elizabeth I, and some wizarding historians allege that the Queen's subsequent opposition to marriage was due to a jinx placed upon her by the thwarted Malfoy. Rowling writes, "The Malfoys gave up their muggle fraternizing when the Ministry of Magic, the new Heart of Power, was founded." Well, that's interesting. Number 32, muggles can't make potions. And that's because you can't make potions without wands. Merely adding dead flies and asphodel to a pot hanging over a fire will give you nothing but nasty tasting, not to mention poisonous soup, Rowling wrote on Pottermore. Though her least favorite subject in school was chemistry, she admitted that, "I always enjoyed creating potions in the books and researching ingredients for them. Many of the components of the various draughts and libations that Harry created for Snape exist, or were once believed to exist, and have, or were believed to have, the properties I gave them." Well, that's cool. Number 33, there was one Harry Potter question J.K. Rowling feared the most. It was, what was Dumbledore's wand made of? That would have been quite a telling question, she told Time, because I had this elder thing in my mind, because elder has this association in folklore. It's the death tree. I thought, what am I going to say? Thankfully, nobody ever asked. Number 34, you can spot a crumple-horned snorcack in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. It's on the second story of the magical menagerie. Luna's father, Xenophilius Lovegood, claimed it was a real creature, but it was never found. Rowling said that Luna, who became a naturalist, had to eventually accept that her father might have made that one up. Number 35, as well as Arthur Weasley's flying car. The flying Ford Anglia, which Harry and Ron flew into the Whomping Willow and later saved them from Acromantilus in the books, was found in line for the now closed Dragon Challenge roller coaster just over the bridge and before entering the castle. And last I knew, that Ford Anglia had been stolen. I can't remember if it was stolen off the set or stolen when it was in transit, when they were transporting it elsewhere, and they never found it. Poof, all gone.
It's in somebody's private collection somewhere.
Yeah, for real. Probably the same people who stole Dean Winchester's original leather coat from seasons 1 through 5 and Castiel's original trench coat. Just saying. But that doesn't have anything to do with Harry Potter. So those are my 35 facts of Harry Potter that I wanted to share with everybody, anyone who's listening. Mm-hmm. What would you guys like to add?
I'm going to have to rewatch that, all those. It's been too long, I've forgotten.
It's the perfect time of year for it.
It really is. I feel like the Harry Potter series kind of floats like The Nightmare Before Christmas. You can watch it from Halloween time through Christmas, through any time of the year, really.
Yeah.
It really
watch them.
I feel like the movies really strike like an ambiance of Christmas, and they're always shown in throughout Christmas time. And I feel like Christmas is always kind of like a highlight every time in each film.
Yes.
There's one movie I can't stand though at Christmas time that they always have on. I can't remember what it is.
It's so bad you blocked it from your mind.
It is. I would know it if I heard the name of it, but I'm getting old. I can't remember. What's the name of it? Especially when it comes to naming things, I can't. But anyway, they always want to show that stupid movie, and I can't stand it. So it's like, no. But there's a lot of Christmas stuff I like.
I'm definitely a fan of I've been itching to rewatch Harry Potter. I did rewatch the first one a few weeks ago, but I got to watch it again because Mitchell's never seen Harry Potter.
What?
Never seen it. He's never seen Lord of the Rings either, but we did watch the first one. I'm educated.
That's more of to me, that's more of a sin than Harry Potter.
I know. But don't worry, I'm going to fix it. Okay. We're fixing it.
Man, how did he get through that without watching that?
He didn't watch much TV.
That time of his life. That's everybody watched TV.
It's okay. We're fixing it now.
How is he sitting through Lord of the Rings, though?
Actually, it held his interest quite well. Mm-hmm. He really liked Gimli, which I kind of expected because Gimli is a fantastic character and he plays with axes.
It's a Wonderful Life. That's the name of that movie.
You don't like that movie?
I was wondering if that was.
Oh, I hate that movie. I don't know why.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it to know. I think I just got so sick of it. After there was somebody in the family that really liked to watch it. I can't remember who it was.
Mom loves
and I made me so sick of it. I just nope.
Huh.
I have to take a few years off and then I'll watch it, and then I'll take another few years off. And then watch it.
Like I don't have to watch it every year. Like once every 5 is fine with me.
Yeah.
But one movie I do like to watch every year religiously on Thanksgiving in particular is fried green tomatoes.
I love fried green
Oh, is
tomatoes.
it?
Love that movie.
With Kathy Bates. God, I love that woman.
I love Kathy Bates. I've been
She's
watching American
great.
Horror Story. Me and Jordan have.
Yeah.
And I just adore her in that show.
She's so good.
She is amazing as a horror film character, like
Hell
insanely
yeah, she
good.
is. And I especially adore her. Well, I adore her in any role she plays, but she's so fucking hilarious in The Waterboy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You playing foosball behind my back?
I like A Christmas Story where the kid, the dad says, "You're gonna shoot your eye out, kid," and
See, and I don't like
laugh
The
at that
Christmas
every
Story.
time.
I've never watched it.
Oh my God!
I'm
You gotta watch
jealous.
that one.
I remember trying to watch it, and I was so bored within the first 10 minutes I quit.
Oh no, I
Did
love
not
that
like
show.
it. You put Home Alone on, I'm there for it.
Yeah,
Grinch
give me
Before
Home
I like
Alone.
that show too.
Like
That's one of my
Peanut.
favorite Christmas time movies is Home Alone.
But yeah, A Christmas Story, I'm out.
Nice. It makes me laugh every time.
That's all that matters.
That's right.
Well, my friends, that is all I have for Harry Potter. Did you guys want to add anything before we call it quits?
I don't think so.
Miss Lisa?
I just want to watch the movies now.
I know, right? Same. I want to reread the books again.
See, and that was
I do want to. I would really want to rewatch the movie. It makes me, talking about it. I was like, oh yeah. So yeah, well, I'm gonna have to rewatch them.
I mean, Harry Potter party, let's go.
With the books, I only got to I think 4.
Oh, dude.
And I just couldn't stay interested.
You stopped at such a crucial point because 5 through 7,
oh, I know, right? Or probably where it got better.
On that shit, man. Get back to it. Number 5 was one of my favorites. I mean, it made me cry, but whatever. So did 7. So did 6. Maybe all of it, but that's besides the point. Just read them. Do it. All right. Well, hopefully everybody got out there and did their judicial shit and voted. And I don't care who y'all voted for. Just go do your thing. And
exercise your right.
Thank God it's going to be over with after today.
I know. No more commercials.
Holy shit.
Yes. And the phone calls. Oh my God.
I am so glad my phone number is under a year old because I didn't get one phone call or one text message.
You know what's funny is I only got a couple phone calls, but the text messages, holy shit.
I got the text messages. I got the phone calls. I got all the propaganda in the mail.
Oh my God! Save some trees, would ya? Would you save some freaking trees?
Much shit in the mail.
Yes.
Are we
Can
going
you imagine the money that they spent to mail all that stuff?
For it
every single person got one. You know how many trees were wasted?
I totally got. If I would have saved them, I'll bet you there was 30. I bet.
Oh yeah, we got at least 30 different ones.
Absolutely.
At least.
So stupid.
What a waste of money. If people haven't decided who they're going to vote for.
Materials. I don't know, guys. I'm just glad it's going to be over after today.
That's all I got to say about could have funded food for the whatever, for a lot of people, with that money. I
know, right?
It made me mad.
But all right, we're going to call it quits. So hopefully y'all enjoyed the show. If you want us to talk about anything in particular, or you want us to keep going and have another Harry Potter night, just let us know. If you want to come be a nerd with us, let us know. But in the meantime, stay tuned for next week's show. What it is, I don't know, but it'll be posted. Everybody have a great rest of your night. Stay safe. And as always, stay spooky.
Bye.
Bye.